This is the pitch.
All right, great. Okay.
Hey Joachim, welcome to the pitch.
Hello, Amran. Thanks for having me. Very glad to be here again. One of the few things that we can do during the MCO to introduce ourselves to the market, right?
Sure. And I have to admit, I don't know much about Everpeaks, so it's so if you could just go through a little bit about yourself, I guess, and then after that, what does Everpeaks do and what's going on?
Okay, sure. So again, I'm Joachim Sebastian, one of 3 founders of Everpeaks. My other partners are Samuel and Andre. So the 3 of us formed the company 4 years ago. And this company was a derivative of a successful e-commerce venture. So let's start with my journey first, right? I started as a brand owner slash manufacturer of stickers. So 7 years ago, I loved motorcycles. So I was looking for accessories online, and I found this set of stickers that I could purchase from France. When I got it here, I was like, hey, there's an opportunity for me to create a product because I'm very familiar with the market.
And these are decals for the bike, is it?
Yes, these are decals for the bikes, especially focused on the rim area, right? So we built that up, and from the journey that started 7 years ago till this year, actually, we've grown exponentially with significant amount of growth and experience in the e-commerce industry. So because we focused on building our sales channels purely online and purely export, we've essentially moved away from dependency on the Malaysian economy and whatever happens in Malaysia, right? So when we found that, fluctuations in our internal industry occurs, we're not so much affected. And after a couple of years of doing that, 3 years of running this business online purely on Amazon and eBay and our own website, we figured that, hey, we've built this level of skill set on brand growth and product growth on the e-commerce marketplaces, and this can be applied to any product-based manufacturer in Malaysia, right? So that's where Everpeaks was born. So we took the e-commerce team from my sticker business, pulled it out, and we formed Everpeaks. Now, 4 years down the road, we generate about 8 million ringgit in export revenue for our clients. We focus on brand building, not trading. So it's a long-term journey. And the core business of Everpeaks is actually to provide expertise that is not available in the market to handle your e-commerce assets. So imagine us like a pilot for your e-commerce aeroplane. You own the plane, but we'll fly it the right way and we'll get you there safely. So with our 7 years of e-commerce experience, we cover the breadth of what is required on e-commerce in terms of strategy, in terms of operations, platform competencies, marketing, content generation, optimizations, and of course, keeping your business compliant to all the rules and changes in the ecosystem that occur.
And so is this something relevant for companies who are thinking of going outside Malaysia, or is it really for companies who are already out there and just wanting to strengthen their reach?
It's both, actually. So we've got a multiple set of products available for the market. So there's 4 different products that we have, which is consult, manage, fulfill, and training. So consult is a market study where companies who want to go and export on the e-commerce platforms, they come to us and we give them basically a market report, right? Manage is where we provide an end-to-end managed service that helps companies avoid paying for manpower in their own internal team, so they can save almost 75% in cost there, from a 40,000 a month bill to about a 10,000 a month bill, where we provide 7 experienced manpower for your e-commerce growth. And then we have fulfill, which is where we warehouse your product and ship and fulfill on behalf of you when the orders come through. So all you need to do as a brand owner, actually, or a company in Malaysia, is to manufacture and send your products to us, and we'll be able to actually fulfill end-to-end. And the last one, which is I would say our contribution and commitment to growing the ecosystem, where we provide training, we provide knowledge sharing, experience sharing, and subject matter expertise training, where it's very specialized into the niches. For instance, Amazon advertising, how do you do it? What works, what doesn't work? Optimization of listings on eBay, how does it work? What do you need to do? So it goes to that technical level. And we provide this because, number one, most of the companies who are very good in e-commerce are not in the business of sharing that knowledge in the first place. They're doing their own thing and they're successful, right? The second thing is that we're the only accredited agency and channel partner of eBay, as well as Amazon service partner in Southeast Asia. So we went through the process of being accredited, and in Malaysia, we're the only one. So that has taken quite a bit
what
of
does
time.
that mean?
What does that mean? It actually indicates that Everpeaks has gone through the compliance procedures and is authorized to use the logos of Amazon and eBay in our marketing. So there's a specialized term and agreement and a contract that we need to sign. That's the first thing. Second thing is that we have had our processes being vetted and are required to comply with only white hat e-commerce methodologies. So we don't do the black hat stuff, such as, attacking your competitors, fake listings, and all these other things, which in fact, in the long term, would destroy your reputation and get you banned on this e-commerce platform. So because we signed the contract with Amazon and eBay, not only do we not do this, we can't do it, and we're legally liable if we do so, we also comply with the standards and operating procedures that are required by these platforms. And because of these things, we have a special pathway to the internal teams in those platforms for things such as account reviews, account suspensions, overcoming termination of accounts, in fact, or appealing Amazon violations. And besides this, we also get to push our clients to specialized marketing programs that are only available to channel partners, such as certain promotions during Amazon Prime Day. So we got the first Malaysian company into Amazon Prime Day for their sales, as well as certain eBay programs.
So taking a step back a little bit, in terms of the market that I am able to export to, so is it just where people can access Amazon and eBay, or do you target specific countries that I can export to?
Well, to understand how the e-commerce ecosystem functions, you must understand the position of Amazon and eBay in the world, right? So Amazon and eBay, there are 9 different Amazons and eBays. There's Amazon US, Canada, France, Germany, Italy, Spain, Japan, Netherlands, UAE, and Australia. So there are 10 actually, 10 different platforms. Each of this is a separate server, a separate listing, and a separate country to penetrate. However, having said that, there are many countries in the world, right? Those who do not have a localized Amazon or eBay, website will actually browse and make purchases off Amazon.com. So that aggregates the rest of the world together. So if you sell on Amazon.com or eBay.com, you will access the global market. But again, when you choose to spend marketing dollars and you choose to spend effort to expand your brand, you want to choose economies that are strong, economies that are robust, and have a very familiar sense of purchasing behavior on e-commerce. So those countries would be US, Canada, UK, France, Germany, probably Italy and Spain, but those two are not so great right now. But yes, these are the focus countries that you want to start your growth on. But you still get access to the whole world, right? Depends on who wants to buy and how much is your shipping.
So what kind of products would you say are primarily your customers? Is it anything, or is it
no,
some
not
specific
exactly anything. So we want to avoid perishable goods. We want to avoid goods that are banned on international, logistics, right? You're not going to sell guns. You're not going to sell drugs. You're not going to sell certain medicine, certain restricted medicines, poisons. All these things have general guidelines on global logistics, and those restrict you. But besides those prohibitive factors, you actually are open to sell almost anything that you want, with the caveat that it makes sense, right? So if a person in the US can buy the same product you're selling for half the price, they're likely not going to buy your product, right? So you want to choose niches that are not available out there, that you can compete uniquely. You can have a position in the market, and you have even better a brand that's already accepted and known. So this is a thought process, a risk evaluation, and a balance of opportunity versus experience, right? You got to see, okay, this is something I want to do, but that's where you leverage on companies like us, where we can actually share with you, okay, this is not going to work because of this, right? So we know that products that are cheaper than 25 USD, you're going to have issues doing fulfillment from Malaysia. So you have to have a hybrid fulfillment methodology. If you have products that are perishable, you've got to make sure the throughput is really high because you can't store it for more than 3 months. If you have products that are FDA flagged, right, requires compliance with FDA, you got to go through your compliance requirements and things like that.
Okay, so that's the kind of advice that you would provide. So let's say I am I don't know, a producer of Tupperware, right? So some Asian special Tupperware, right? And I have not exported. So it's something I go to you guys, hey, you know what? I've got this. Here's the price point. Should I go onto the e-commerce platform or not?
Yeah, so how we work is that when a client comes to us, essentially we do an initial scoping to make sure that they hit the criteria of actually being able to sell. There are no legal barriers and things. And this we do for free, right? We want to advise the clients because we take a position that if we don't bring you benefit, we don't want to take your money in the first place, right? So it's got to be a win-win situation. And the relationships that we build are not 1 year or half a year. Our contracts last 2 years, in fact, for us to actually build an e-commerce asset for a company. There's nothing short-term about a brand building journey on e-commerce. It takes quite a bit of time. So at the start, we evaluate if it's feasible or not in the first place. Then we come up with a proposal. Okay, this is what we think. Give us about 30 to 45 days to conduct an in-depth market study for you. So we essentially give out a contract that you sign and you pay a setup fee, and then we do the deep market study for free. So this covers both sides, right? So on our side, it's workload, and we know it's a confirmed client. And on the client side, they don't actually pay for execution of the report. They get it free of charge as part of a 2-year project that we work together with, right? And if the report shows that this is not feasible, that there are certain criteria that just does not make sense, and even after 2 years, we cannot forecast a profit, we will actually cancel the contract. So it is essentially in good faith that we want to be able to, at the very least at the start, project success, right? If you, from the start, you can't even see potential of this project, then no point executing it. So that's how we take our approach for the full managed services portfolio. And bear in mind, before we kick off, we actually provide a 2-year forecast plan in terms of revenue generation, advertising costs, and a break-even point. So these are the 3 things that we provide to our clients.
From a platform standpoint, e-commerce platform standpoint, you obviously mentioned eBay and Amazon.
Yes.
Our side of the world is obviously everybody knows Lazada and Shopee. So how is that something that you guys support as well, or how does that work?
There's some clients that ask us to assist with Lazada and Shopee management. Again, the principles of e-commerce apply broadly. It applies to all platforms. And Lazada and Shopee are about 5 years behind Amazon in terms of technology and leading the e-commerce industry in terms of buyer behavior and expected experience as well. So in my experience running a business on Amazon for the past 7 years, they hold you accountable to a much higher standard. So Malaysia is actually rather benign and rather much easier to start selling on e-commerce. Just on a perspective basis, Lazada and Shopee, they don't charge you any fee for selling, right? Amazon charges you 15%. So just that alone creates a much bigger competitive cost on Amazon versus selling in Malaysia. However, margins in Malaysia are not so great. The business itself in Malaysia is a very price sensitive area. So for us, we find that if you have effort to spend it on gaining export revenue, which is a lot more lucrative.
So from a company standpoint, their products will then be listed on Amazon and eBay?
Yes. Again, we usually have a multiple platform approach to this where at times, if the company can afford, so we do a 3-platform solution because we're a Shopify partner as well. So you got a brand.com, you got an Amazon and an eBay that hits the same market. So any marketing activity allows the consumer to choose the platform that they're most comfortable with. So that's usually our approach because we also do Facebook and Instagram management for brands that we run, but it's part of a holistic package. We don't do it by itself, right? Because it's, again, a brand growth and e-commerce conversion journey. So when we also manage the content on Facebook and Instagram, we are able to do the ads, we're able to do the growth and the market reach activities to hit that market. And then once the market learns about the product, they convert on Amazon, they convert on eBay, they convert on the website based on their choice. So this is what we call an omni-channel e-commerce approach. So you give them as many platforms as they want, and they will convert where they feel most comfortable with.
Okay, so I've now given you we've signed up and I said, okay, you've gone off to do your study. You've come back to me and say, okay, this is a viable business. Here's the 10 things that you're selling which works. And here's the channels, the platforms that we recommend you to do, right? So what happens after that?
So then once you see the plan, the forecast numbers, the break-even point and the cost, you need to again evaluate whether you can afford those advertising costs because they still come from the company, right? Once all that is okay, you sign off the kickoff document. Then we go into execution where we will set up the accounts, we will actually list the products and we'll run it day to day. So we'll have our e-commerce team integrating our technology to manage your customer queries, your order management, your issue management, your refunds, your shipping policies and your shipping structure, your pricing structure. So we'll work that whole thing out. And it takes a bit of time, right? Every month we optimize. So we look at the data, we look at what happened, what the market is reacting to. Are we at the right ratio? So it's always going to be a cost ratio. So we spent X dollars, we made Y revenue. So is that ratio acceptable? Usually we're looking at between 25 to 40% on e-commerce. It's going to be even worse at the first year. So it is a gradual improvement of the platform when you spend on brand building, you spend on market awareness, and you spend on teaching the consumer that, hey, this is a great product, right?
So in terms of brand building, what do you guys do? How do you push it out?
So we've got experience managing Amazon brands and eBay brands. So an Amazon brand, you need to have your trademark registration done. You get access to different marketing channels. You get access to enhanced brand content, which is where normal sellers only get to put pictures. You get to put pictures, videos, and so much more to enhance your consumer experience. So the brand growth journey on Amazon and eBay is very, very different compared to a trader journey. So that's where we specialize in. And we have those pathways and what works and what doesn't work for a brand already established. So that's when we actually, use that information, use that experience and apply it to the brands that we manage.
Do you also help me in pushing my brand out on the social media platforms, Facebook and
yes, but targeted towards the export countries. So generally we work on a US target and all that. So then we come up with the content, we come up with the graphics, we come up with the copy, and we push, and we also manage the advertising, in fact, as part of a holistic package. Because again, we don't do it altruistically completely. When we structure our contract, it's a retainer and a revenue share. So generally, we take a 7% rev share on sales. So that's where we don't charge for anything additional. When you make sales, we make money. So that's how we work. So it's a performance-driven relationship.
Okay. So here I am sitting on my warehouse in KL, and you've pushed it out, and you've listed it. Okay, then what? Hopefully the next day you will come back to me and say, hey, you know what? We've got an order for 10 of your Tupperwares. And then time to ship
Actually, we don't want to have that kind of relationship where we're telling you things. We'll give you a login. You log into your portal every morning and you'll see your orders there. You just fulfill.
So and then for me to fulfill is just to give it to your warehouse, to send it to your warehouse.
If you pay for fulfill as our service, then yes, that's the case. If not, you ship it yourself, because some of our brand owners, they have warehousing operations and fulfillment operations already. They don't want to send stock here, send stock there. They don't want to break up their stock as well. So we are okay either way. Our forte is, again, the e-commerce operation aspect, not the fulfillment portion. That's an added value service. However, having said that, we have identified that the warehousing and fulfillment operations for a global hub is the next stage for Everpeaks, right? And this is where we're going this year. So I'll go into that. If you have no further questions on the earlier portion, then we can get into that.
Just one last one. What kind of company sizes are you targeting? So I'm a mom and pop kind of shop who produces this very small items, you know, a few a week, or are you looking at manufacturers who are larger volumes?
So we've got clients that are 6-man teams, and we've got clients that are 600-man companies as well. So it actually doesn't really matter the size of the company. What really matters is the uniqueness of your product and the viability of that product. Because in the end, you look at an e-commerce team, right? A lot of people think that, hey, I'm going to get one executive, you handle the e-commerce, then you're done. And that's the biggest mistake a brand owner can make. Because e-commerce is split to many different job scopes. You've got performance management, you've got the advertising, you've got the content, you've got platform optimization, you've got the order management and fulfillment, then you've got customer service. There's all 6-7 different kinds of jobs. And if you put all this in one person, that's a recipe for failure when you start scaling. So what we do is that we provide a 7-man team, which will cost you 30 to 35,000 ringgit a month in manpower cost, for a fraction of that, for a real fraction of that. So the efficiencies of running e-commerce in the right way is achieved by outsourcing it to us, which have the relevant experience. Even if you could afford the amount of salaries for an e-commerce team, you may not necessarily be able to find them. Because remember, a person who has that level of expertise on Amazon and eBay is very likely running his own business and has no interest to work for you, right? So that's,
and I guess it's also helpful for companies who are just about to embark in this, as a rather than set up this whole team and trying to figure this out. Can also
that's a great point, because that's actually our pathway. Our churn that we want to build is a 2-year churn where we have tried to educate and do training in the market on technical e-commerce capability, and that has generally failed because companies who attend the training, they lack the experience and the energy to go through the processes to learn it themselves. They would rather outsource it at the start. But what happens is that when you work with us for 2 years, you naturally learn the workflows, the processes, and you get to understand it while working with an expert in the area. And then after 2 years, what happens is that suddenly you realize, hey, I now understand how to structure this. And then we hand off, you take your accounts back, we move on to the next client, and you run your business, So that is the actual mentorship / hand-holding and coaching methodology that occurs concurrently while we manage your e-commerce platforms.
Yeah, it's like building my own capability, right? You are helping me build my capability to do that. It's great.
That's right. And we don't take an approach of, we're just a service provider and things like that. We take a very entrepreneurial approach to this. So it involves the directors of the companies. It involves people who actually sell themselves, So we're not here learning textbook items and regurgitating it to you. We're sharing with you experience that we've done on ourselves to make a few million ringgit in export sales. So there's a track record that validates this is a brand owner experience pathway, not a trader, yeah? So mind you, there's a huge difference between a brand owner journey and a trader journey. A trader journey is selling products that the market is already aware of. They know. So if you're selling Nike shoes, you can sell it to the US. It's just a price point discussion, but your margins are this thin, and there's nothing sustainable about the entire ecosystem. If somebody sells cheaper than you, you're going to lose out on sales. Yeah. And it's a race to the bottom at certain times. So we avoid the trader methodology. We focus on brand growth, where number one, your product is having a USP. You can defend your position in the market. No one actually makes your product or is authorized to represent your brand. So whatever goodwill that you create is yours, and it has to occur in a long-term process. So that's where we come from.
Definitely not a drop shipping type business.
No, definitely not. Number one, the drop shippers can't afford us anyway with the rates. So they don't have the right margins for it.
Okay. Anyway, so you were saying, all right, so that's the business that Everpeaks is in now. And you have some plans for the future?
Definitely. So something that we've realized in the 7 years that I've operated e-commerce businesses is that in the world, most of the time, e-commerce and logistics are separate. It's being operated in a way where logistics players are logistics players, e-commerce players are e-commerce players. So what we've discovered is that if you can join these two into a single solution, there is a huge amount of synergy, cost savings, and actual revenue generation that you can potentially actually exploit, right? So what we've done is that we've created the first e-commerce enabled duty-free warehousing solution in Malaysia. So we have built a system that allows brands from around the world to store their products duty-free in Malaysia, in our warehouse, and integrate them omni-channel to all the marketplaces for automated fulfillment. So this
but this is for inbound.
This is for inbound because, again, a Malaysian brand unlikely is going to leverage on this because they are already from Malaysia, right? Mm-hmm. However, regional brands will still do it. If you're a brand from Philippines and you want to go into Southeast Asia, you can use this facility. So you send your warehousing container to our warehouse, we'll receive it, break bulk and store it. You'll have live inventory. It integrates to all your stores, whether it's Shopee, Lazada, Amazon, or eBay, or your own website. And you can have real-time inventory management immediately. So we call this fulfillment by Everpeaks. This is the next stage where we will provide the backbone of e-commerce, which is logistics, fully integrated with our digital team. So it's a standalone service, mind you, where companies from around the world can use it as a logistics solution first. Because remember, duty-free bonded warehousing is an expensive product. It is not generally available to SME brand owners. So our service is starting at 3,800 ringgit a month for an account that gives you 200 square feet of storage. So it's a very e-commerce friendly, very high throughput order mechanism. So you pay 3,800 a month, which is about 1,000 USD. You get access to a duty-free warehousing solution in Southeast Asia. So that will reduce the entire barrier of global e-commerce for brands and SME owners around the world, right? So we want to actually build this facility as a initial lead generation point because everybody understands logistics. Most companies do. It's a very simple proposition. Not many companies understand our managed services proposition. So when they come on board as a logistics client of ours, we will share with them our pathways, our journeys and things. And in time, we believe that the value proposition will translate and we can convert the the Fulfilled by Everpeaks clients into managed services clients, right? So that's our strategy. So we will be going to exhibitions in the US, in the UK, in all these areas, and we will be soliciting brand owners, manufacturers, starting with the automotive industry, and then moving on to the other verticals. Because the automotive industry is, again, something that I'm very familiar with in terms of product and market. So that's the next stage. And the good news is that when we pitched this project, we already secured our first investor to a tune of 1 million ringgit, right? And because of the reception of our idea with the general, the people that I've talked to, we also are initiating our Pitch In fundraising program, and it's live on the 1st of June. So you can go and search and look up the entire offer and the product documents there to learn a lot more about it.
Sure, looking forward to that.
Yeah, so that's where we're looking for the future. And again, our position as a Amazon service provider, as an eBay channel partner, and not to mention our latest upcoming partnership with DHL Express, we will have global brands as formal partners with us to grow this. So we can market to Amazon clients, we can market to eBay clients. We will actually be able to leverage on special rates from DHL Express for our clients to grow their business as well. So it's a full end-to-end solution.
Okay. So all the best with that.
Thank you. It's an exciting time. It is.
It is, and it's good to see that all these activities are happening even with all the restrictions that we're going through.
Oh, definitely. Actually, contrary to public opinion, our sales and the sales of our clients have been increasing in the MCO. And we have the relevant data to actually support. In the slide deck that I'll share with you after this, you can actually see at the last slide that shows a significant increase of a non-essential good that we sell, that we manage.
Well, it's
So
essential for somebody, I guess.
yeah, definitely, definitely. But it's not like medical PPE or those kind of stuff. You know, it's completely out of that category. So
Hey,
we
even a bike sticker is essential for somebody, right? For a bike lab.
yeah, definitely, essentially that. And furthermore, all these elements of the company that what we are executing on and what we're doing actually is underpinned by a vision that we hold, right? The vision for Everpeaks is actually to enable manufactured to consumer commerce in the world, starting with Southeast Asia. So manufactured to consumer commerce is the new wave of how e-commerce and retail will occur, where consumers are no longer happy to just buy from dealers and distributors. They want to interact with the brand. And because of the COVID issue, distribution networks around the world have actually broken down. I'm a distributor. I'm not going to stock up so much right now because I can't guarantee the sales. But the demand from the grassroots users is still there. And brand owners and manufacturers who can reach these users will now get a very lucrative, high profit margin, immediate cash flow that has a huge magnitude. They think it's small because they used to B2B, right? B2B, you get bulk sales, low margins, but they don't realize that B2C using these marketplaces and platforms can reach the relevant volumes as well. So that's the vision that we hold, manufactured to consumer e-commerce, and we want to be the driving force in Southeast Asia for this.
Okay. All right, Joachim. Thanks a lot.
All right. Thanks, Amran. Appreciate your time.
No worries.
Definitely. I'll share with you the deck. And again, appreciate you doing this for us again.
Yeah, no worries. We'll catch up again later. Okay. Bye.
This is The Pitch.